Any person who does not align with your purpose is not a partner. They are a detour. Hello, ladies. Today is not just about spotting red flags. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your mission in life. You are not here to be drained, played, or emotionally exhausted trying to figure out if someone values you. You are not here to be used. You are here to be respected, cherished, and empowered in love. Napoleon Hill said it perfectly. Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life you desire. And that includes who you date. If he's not watering your garden, he shouldn't be eating your fruit. Now let me paint you a picture. She's sitting on the couch, phone in hand, heart half expecting that, "Hey, what you doing?" text at 10:47 p.m. like clockwork. He hasn't called in days, no effort, no plans. But when he needs something, your energy, your body, your comfort, suddenly he's poetic. "You mean the world to me. I just been busy." And she wants to believe him. She wants to believe maybe this time he means it, but deep down her soul already knows this man isn't building with her, he's feeding off her. If that's hitting something in your spirit, hit that like button, tap subscribe and stay with me, because you deserve more than someone who only shows up when it benefits them. You deserve real love, not recycled attention. Think of it like this. A bank doesn't keep giving out loans to someone who never deposits a dime. And sis, your heart, your time, your energy, that's a high-value account. So stop approving withdrawals from men who don't even know how to deposit honesty. Now let's make this fun. I want you to comment below this short but powerful affirmation. Protect my power. Say it, type it, own it. Say it to the mirror. Write it in your journal, whisper it before you block his number. You get to whatever you need. Show him, show the universe, and most importantly, show yourself. Because up next, we're diving into the very first behavior that exposes a user. And trust me, once you see it clearly, you won't unsee it. Let's go. Number 1. His words are dreams, but his actions are empty. It starts off sweet, real sweet. You're dating this man and at first, it feels like a dream. He's saying all the right things. I see a future with you. I've never met anyone like you. I just need time to get myself together, but when I do, it's you and me. And girl, let's be honest, it feels good. It's like he's handing you a vision board in a text message. But then reality sets in. Weeks pass, months maybe, and you start noticing something. The dreams are staying dreams. There's no motion, no plan, no execution, just sweet nothings, becoming real nothings. You ask, didn't you say we were going to start planning that trip? Oh yeah, I've just been super busy. But I thought you said we'd spend more time together.
Yeah, definitely. Soon. Soon? That man has been serving you soon like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, but soon never shows up. And here's where I want you to lean in. Words without action are just distractions. Napoleon Hill said, "You become what you do, not what you say." Simple, right? If someone says they're committed but they never show up, they're not committed. They're just comfortable keeping you around with promises they have no intention of fulfilling.
Let me break it down even more. Imagine someone telling you they're going to build you a house. Every day, they hype it up. You're going to love the kitchen. Wait till you see the view. You're getting excited, but every time you drive by the land, not a single brick has been laid. Queen, that's not a builder, that's a storyteller. And maybe right now you're sitting with this confusion, but he acts like he cares. Sometimes. Sis, here's the truth. Sometimes is not consistency. A man who truly wants to be with you will align his effort with his affection. That means when he says something, he does it. Not always perfectly, but consistently. Napoleon Hill said, Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. But hear me, faith alone won't build you a relationship. It must be followed by definite plans and repeated action. That's how love grows, that's how trust builds, that's how you stop wasting time on men who love the idea of you more than the reality of showing up for you.
Now let me hit you with something else. Something most people won't say out loud. Some men know they're not ready, but they also know you are. And instead of stepping up, they speak up. Not to match your heart, but to keep access to your energy. They sell you a future so they can stay in your present, rent-free. But your time, your heart, your soul, that's not an Airbnb, baby. That's a sanctuary. And if he's not showing up with bricks, tools, and a blueprint, he's just passing through.
Let me say this to your spirit. Stop falling in love with his potential. Fall in love with patterns. Potential is invisible. Patterns are proof. Now, before we move on, I want you to ask yourself, am I more in love with who he said he could be, or who he's actually shown me he is? Because knowing the difference, that's where your power is. That's where your peace begins. So repeat this to yourself right now. I trust the pattern, not the potential, not the apology, not the vibe, the pattern. And trust me, is what's coming next. Oh, it's even deeper, because now that you know how to spot empty promises, we're about to talk about the invisible cost of always operating on someone else's schedule. It's the next clue that he's using you, and you might not even realize it's happening. Let's go. Number 2, everything is on his terms. You ever notice how the plans only seem to work when they work for him? You're over here making space in your calendar, adjusting your energy, rearranging your life. And what's he doing? Sending that "you up" text at 11:08 p.m. like you're on standby. He's not making plans, he's making appearances. And the worst part, he wraps it up in excuses that almost sound reasonable. I've just been busy. Work's been crazy. I've had a lot going on. Now don't get me wrong, life gets real, but hear me loud and clear. Busyness is not the same as selfishness. Let's call it what it is. This man is not busy. He's conveniently unavailable. When it's time for you to ask for his time, he disappears. But when he wants something, your attention, your body, your energy, suddenly he finds a way. That's not partnership, that's possession. Napoleon Hill said, a definite chief aim must be backed by definite plans. Let's break that down simply. If someone says you're important to them, there should be plans behind that statement. Not vague intentions, not "we'll see," real plans, because a man with vision isn't vague, and a man with no plan, he has no purpose with you, but just proximity.
Picture this. You invite someone to a potluck. You spend hours cooking, cleaning, preparing. He shows up late with a half-eaten bag of chips and expects a seat at the table. That's how this kind of man treats your life. He brings crumbs to your feast. And queen, you are not a buffet for the emotionally unprepared.
You don't need a man who only fits you in. You need a man who plans you in, who values your time the way he values his own. Because love is not about adjusting to someone's convenience. It's about building something with mutual effort and clarity. So ask yourself, are you dating a man or babysitting his calendar? Repeat after me. I require effort. Write it, whisper it, wear it, because your life is not a last-minute invitation. It's a fully booked journey. And if he can't plan for you, he's not part of your vision.
What's coming next? We're going to talk about what happens when a man gives just enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to build with. And trust me, it's a game you'll never play again once you see it. Let's go.
Number 3, he avoids giving but expects everything. Let's talk about the kind of man who turns love into a one-way street, where you're always the one driving and he's just catching the ride. You ever been with someone who somehow made your generosity feel like an obligation while his bare minimum started to look like a gift? You're showing up fully. You're bringing your time, your tenderness, your loyalty. You remember the little things you sacrifice, you pour in, but what does he bring? Excuses, inconsistency. And that exhausting line, "I didn't ask you to do all that." That's the line of a taker. And as I always say, a taker never sees his own weight, only yours. He expects you to cook the meal, serve the plate, clean the kitchen, and still thank him for showing up late. And here's what's dangerous. You start to normalize it. You start to believe, maybe I'm asking for too much, when really, sis, you're asking for the bare minimum. Respect, presence, effort. Napoleon Hill reminds us, you will get out of life exactly what you put into it. That applies to business. That applies to purpose. And oh yes, that applies to relationships. Love should never feel like unpaid overtime. If you're putting in effort and he's putting in convenience, you're not building something, you're being drained. And maybe right now you're wondering, but what if he's just not good at giving love? That's fair. Some people were never taught how, but guess what? Desire teaches. A man who truly values you will learn how to love you. He'll ask questions, he'll pay attention, he'll try. A man who doesn't, he'll let you carry the emotional weight and still whisper, you're too much. Here's the shift I want for you. Stop giving Olympic-level love to someone who won't even stretch for you. This is not about being petty. This is about equal energy. Relationships are not charity. They are partnership. And partnership means two people rowing the boat, not one pulling while the other sips lemonade. So say this with your whole chest. Effort meets effort. That's the new standard. Not perfect, but present. Not flawless, but intentional. And what's coming next? Oh, we're just getting to the real core now, because the next sign of a user, he doesn't just avoid effort, he twists truth. He manipulates reality. And once you see it, it changes how you protect your peace forever. Let's go. Number 4. He uses guilt or gaslighting to avoid accountability. Let's talk about when love starts to feel like a courtroom, but somehow you're always on trial. You bring up something that hurt you, something that doesn't feel right, and instead of listening, instead of owning it, he flips the whole thing on you. Suddenly you're the problem. You're too sensitive. You're overthinking. Wow, you don't trust me? You're being dramatic. You always make everything about you. That, Queen, is not miscommunication. That's manipulation. That's gaslighting. And it's not just confusing, it's crazy-making. See, a manipulator fears truth more than failure because truth holds them accountable. And accountability, that means change. That means showing up. That means dropping the act and facing who they really are. And some men, they'd rather protect their image than protect your heart. Napoleon Hill said, every adversity has the seed of benefit. Even the people who lie teach you to trust your gut. That means even in the middle of the mind games, even when you're second-guessing yourself, there's a gift buried in the chaos. It's called clarity. That pit in your stomach, that's not weakness. That's your wisdom whispering, something isn't right. And let me be real with you, some of you are not confused because you don't know the truth. You're confused because you keep being told your truth is wrong. And that's what gaslighting does. It makes you question your own mirror. But Queen, your reflection has never lied to you. Your intuition is not broken, it's brilliant. Let me give you a picture. You walk into a room and the light's flickering. You tell the man next to you, hey, the light's not working. and he looks you dead in the face and says, "No, it's fine." You're imagining that. After a while, you stop trusting your eyes. That's what emotional gaslighting does. And it's dangerous because it doesn't just make you doubt him, it makes you doubt you. But here's your power move. Don't argue with illusion. Walk with truth. You don't need to defend what your soul already knows. You don't need to debate reality with someone who's allergic to responsibility. The truth doesn't shout, it stands. Say this now: my truth is enough. Let it ring in your heart. Let it rise in your voice. Let it guide your choices.
Because what's coming next? Oh, we're about to talk about the weapon that hits deeper than any lie. The slow erosion of your confidence. And how a user will chip away at your shine until you start to dim your own light, but not anymore. Let's go.
Number 5, he attacks your confidence subtly. You ever been with someone who never outright insults you, but somehow you still feel smaller around them, less sure of yourself, less bold, less bright? It's not the loud disrespect, it's the quiet erosion, the subtle jabs disguised as jokes, the side comments about your appearance, your dreams, your opinions. You really wearing that? You always got something to say? You're doing too much? And after a while, you stop showing up fully. Not because you want to, but because he made you feel like you take up too much space. Let me tell you something that might sting before it sets you free. If he can shrink you, he can control you. And that's exactly the game a user plays. He doesn't want to match your power. He wants to minimize it. Because the smaller you feel, the easier you are to manipulate. The more you question your value, the more likely you are to accept crumbs. That's not love. That's strategic insecurity.
Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." And that's not just about money or success. That's about self-image. What you believe about yourself is what you start to accept. And if he's planting seeds of doubt in your mind, little by little, day by day, those thoughts start to take root. And the most dangerous part? You begin to believe you're not enough, not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough. And once you believe that, he doesn't have to do the work of tearing you down. You'll start doing it to yourself.
But here's the good news. You can take your mind back. You can reclaim your confidence, one truth at a time. Start with this. Your worth is not negotiable, not defined by him, not dependent on validation. You don't need to shrink to be loved. You need to expand to be seen. Picture yourself like a flame, a real one, and him, he's been trying to put a lid on it. But baby, flames don't apologize for burning bright. They rise, they warm, they light the way. Say this out loud wherever you are. I am still fire. Because even if someone tried to dim your shine, it's still burning beneath the surface. All it takes is one breath of belief. And you're back. Now get ready. Because next, we're talking about when a man refuses to commit, yet wants all the benefits of you being his. And that blurred line? Oh, it ends today. Let's go. Number 6. He refuses commitment but takes your energy. Let's talk about the man who moves like a boyfriend, loves like a boyfriend, benefits like a boyfriend, but won't be a boyfriend. You're giving him time, you're giving him access. He's at your place on Sundays, texting you good morning during the week, meeting your friends, maybe even your mama. But the second you ask, "So, what are we?" he freezes like you just asked him to solve a quantum physics equation. Suddenly it's, "I'm not ready for a relationship," or "Let's just see where this goes." But sis, it's already going. It's going nowhere with intention and everywhere with emotional cost. Let's call it what it is. He doesn't want to build a future, but he wants to benefit from your present. He wants the warmth of your home, your body, your loyalty, without offering you the security of commitment. That's not a partner, that's a passenger. Napoleon Hill said, "There is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose." That means if someone doesn't know where they're going, don't let them take the wheel of your heart. A man who's serious about you won't be vague. He'll have vision, direction, and most of all, clarity. If he doesn't, then guess what? You'll spend your days trying to read a man who hasn't even written the plan. And listen, I get it. You might say, but what if he's just scared, and what if he's been hurt before? That might all be true, but it's not your job to heal a man who won't even hold space for your needs. Love requires risk. And if he's unwilling to take that step, but still expects you to show up like his piece, his partner, his ride or die, you're not in love. You're in limbo. Your love is not a trial offer. Your heart is not a temporary subscription. You are not a part-time experience with full-time benefits. Say that with me. I require clarity, and you do, because confusion will cost you more than heartbreak. It'll cost you time, self-worth, and energy you can't get back. So here's your shift. If he's not ready for a relationship, that's his right. But it's also your right to step away, not with anger, with alignment.
Now keep walking with me, because what's coming next? It's when a man doesn't just avoid giving, he takes pride in doing the least and still expecting the most. It's not love, it's imbalance, and we're flipping that script. Let's go. Number 7, he does the least, but asks for the most.
You ever met a man who gives you crumbs but expects a full-course meal in return? He sends a "How was your day?" text once a week and thinks that counts as effort. He buys you a coffee and feels entitled to your time, your energy, your loyalty, and in some cases, your money, your body, your peace. Sis, he wants queen treatment while acting like a pawn. Let's be real. At first, it feels like he's trying. He does a little something and you want to believe it's meaningful. You appreciate that $20 lunch or that cute emoji he randomly sends. But here's the thing, small gestures are only sweet when they're sincere, not strategic. Because the moment he starts using those little acts to justify asking you for big things, that's not love, that's manipulation in a tuxedo. Napoleon Hill said, "Well, you cannot receive more than you give." And in real love, that's the balance. You pour, I pour. You show up, I show up. That's the rhythm of reciprocity. But when a man does the least and still expects the most, and he's not in rhythm, he's in extraction mode. He's here to take, not to build. And you might be wondering, but what if he just doesn't know how to show love? Great question. There's a difference between lack of knowledge and lack of effort. A man who truly values you will ask, listen, learn, and try. Not just once, but over time. A man who doesn't, he'll use the same tired line, "I'm just not good at this stuff," as a free pass to keep receiving without giving. Let me put it like this. If you're dating someone who makes requests but never makes deposits, you're not in a relationship. You're in a debt cycle. And Queen, your love is not a line of credit. Your presence is not a free ride. Your spirit is not a discount service. Here's your shift. Match his investment. No more, no less. Not out of bitterness, Kay, but out of balance. Give as much as he gives. Show up as much as he shows up. That's not being cold. That's being clear. Say it now. Energy must match. That's your standard. Because anything less becomes a slow drain on your soul. Now stay with me, because next we're going to talk about one of the most subtle, toxic signs when he makes you feel guilty for simply needing something, and how that guilt is actually a spotlight exposing his true intentions. Let's go. Number 8. He makes you afraid to ask for anything. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever paused before asking him for something simple, a favor, clarity, reassurance? Because you didn't want to start something? You held your tongue. You watered down your needs. You convinced yourself it's not that important, even when your heart was screaming otherwise. And why? Because every time you speak up, he gets cold, distant, defensive. Suddenly you're too demanding, too much. And just like that, you're scared to even have needs. Queen, that is not love. That is emotional control. Love thrives in truth, not silence. If you can't speak your truth, if you can't be seen in your full emotional expression without punishment or withdrawal, then you are not in a safe space. You're in a performance. And you deserve more than applause. You deserve presence. Napoleon Hill said it best. Fear is the tool of the man who would manipulate you into stillness. In other words, if a man can make you afraid to speak, he never has to be held accountable. You won't ask, you won't express, you'll just suppress. And what's suppressed turns into self-abandonment. Let's break this down plain and simple. In healthy love, needs are not seen as burdens. They are seen as opportunities, opportunities to connect, to show up, to serve each other. When a man truly wants to be with you, your needs won't scare him, they'll guide him. Your vulnerability won't repel him, it'll call him closer. But a user? Oh, he hates when you ask. Not because he can't, but because he won't. And rather than say that directly, he trains you to ask for less, by giving you less every time you ask.
But today, that cycle ends. Your power move, ask boldly, not to beg, not to convince, but to observe. Because how he reacts to your needs will tell you everything you need to know. Love doesn't shut you down, it lifts you up.
So here's the truth, Queen. When a man is using you, the signs aren't always loud, but they are there. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. This isn't about blaming him, it's about choosing you, your peace, your power, your future. Remember, real love doesn't make you guess, beg, or shrink. It makes you grow. So if this video lit something in your spirit, do me a favor. Like it, share it, and subscribe for more truth, healing, and high-value wisdom. And send this to a sister who needs the reminder, you are not for rent. You are royalty.